Welcome to Channel 7 News. Tonight we'll be discussing families and their children with chronic illnesses. Chronic illness is now a family stressor that affects 15 to 18% of all children. This unique challenge for families adds increased financial burden, siblings acting out, isolation from friends, caregiver burnout, and emotional turnout for every family member affected. But how much do we really understand the stressors? Tonight we interviewed a family who deals with this on a daily basis to try to shed some light on the situation. Good evening, I'm Katie with Channel 7 News. Tonight for our local story, we interview a family who seems to do it all as they manage stressors other people wouldn't even imagine. Here with me today is the Smith family, Father Patrick, Mother Anika, eldest daughter Abigail, and youngest daughter Kristen. Smith family, I wanted to ask you all about some of the daily challenges you face as individuals and as a family. Would that be all right?
Sure, we'd be happy to answer your questions for you.
Okay, let's get started. Anika, Kristen has been sick for a couple years now. Can you tell me exactly what her condition is?
Kristen was diagnosed with leukemia. It is the most common childhood cancer.
That's a pretty terrifying diagnosis. How did it all start? When did you know something was wrong?
Well, it started with a fever, and then a loss of appetite, and then she couldn't sleep, and then we just whisked her away. And then we just whisked her away to the hospital, and then they just kept doing tests on her, and then nothing. And then after that, one day I woke her up and she was just covered with welts all over her body, mainly around her neck and her underarms. And Patrick and I, we took her to the hospital again, and then they did thousands of tests and a million questions. And then the doctor came in. He sat us down and he told us that she had cancer.
Anika, there was a published report in 2005 discussing attempts to decrease parental stress when children are housed in the PICU. They said that nurses and doctors didn't communicate hospital process or procedures well to families, and in fact, that effort to help caused more anxiety and stress. Did you have a similar experience?
Yes, it definitely was the case in the emergency room. We had fabulous doctors and nurses, but they always didn't tell us everything when medical procedures were taking place. Like that spinal cord procedure, remember?
Yeah.
And they kind of like to hide things, but it's whatever.
Now Patrick, tell me a little about finances. In the 2010 costs for hospital stays in the U.S. analysis, children 1 to 17 years of age averaged $8,200 per visit. Have you had similar costs?
Unfortunately, that is the case, but for us it's a much larger scale. Medicaid for us only covers the first $7,500 of an approved procedure. Most of the time, they won't cover their procedures. They'll deny a claim, which often means you have to either choose not to get the treatment or pay out of pocket. With Kristen, her cancer for over 3 years of treatment has cost us about $3 million, give or take. Attendance costs for hospitals are $35,000 for just 1 week. That's here at Boston Children's. I mean, you want to take your kid to the best, right?
So how can your family afford the care?
It's been tough. We definitely have to keep a strict budget. I mean, I work a full-time job, plus I work some night shifts.
And I work 2 part-time jobs as well.
I mean, we cut costs wherever we can, but it's still tough.
Yes.
That sounds like quite an emotional roller coaster. We ran a survey, and these were the top feelings and stressors reported by parents with chronically ill children.
I think anger and fear are right. Sometimes I get mad that I'm not like everybody else. I don't get to play outside or have fun, and I don't really go to school, so I don't have friends. But I also get mad that I have to do this. Why is it always me? I take a lot of medicine, and it makes me really sick, like tubie therapy, which makes my hair fall out. See, I have a wig. My medicine makes me throw up, too. Medicine is supposed to make me feel better, but all it does is make me more sick.
This cancer has been such a burden on my family. Patrick and I have discussed many times to Kristen about death. We have planned a burial plot for her. We have discussed things like losing her hair, not getting chemotherapy, maybe not making it to her teen years. It's just rough. It's gone to the point where we've suffered PTSD and anxiety attacks. Some days it seems just overwhelming.
These are all important topics to cover. One last question before we sign off. If you could help society as a whole understand one thing, what would that be?
I can answer that. There's no magic answer because everyone is different and you go through different struggles and everyone has different needs. So what most people don't understand is that a chronic illness is going to be with that person for the rest of their life. So basically you just need to be there for that person, give them support, try to understand what they're going through, and remember that a little compassion can go a long ways.
And also, as long as Kristen is battling cancer, she's going to be dependent on us for a long time.
Thank you for that. This is Katie with Channel 7 News, signing off. Have a great night. Well, that interview definitely gave us some insight into the daily challenges for families with children with chronic illnesses. Who knew there was so much stress and emotional struggle within the family dynamic? I'm impressed by the amount of knowledge the mother and father have in order to speak with the doctors effectively. Hopefully this story encourages our viewers to be a little bit more caring and a little more open to lending a helping hand to families who have these extra challenges. Thank you for watching Channel 7 News, and have a good night.
Certainly, Kristen was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Sorry. Certainly, Katie. Oh gosh. Certainly, Kristen was diagnosed at age 4 with acute lymphomic. What is it called?
Acute lymphomic
I can answer that. Oh God, I already forgot the line.
Sorry. Welcome to Channel 7 News. Tonight we'll be discussing families and their children with chronic illnesses. Chronic illnesses